Every agent so far has taken an API key. That's the easy on-ramp. But behind it, the SDK is quietly creating a client, the object that actually holds your connection, your timeouts, and your time zone. Today, we pull that client into the open, so you can configure it once, share it across every agent in your app, and control its lifecycle yourself. Here's what's really happening. When you write agent with an API key, the SDK builds a client under the hood and hands it to the agent. Give two agents the same key and the SDK even caches it, so they already share one client quietly. Making the client explicit doesn't change that picture, it just gives you the handle. Now you decide the connection settings in one place and pass that one client to as many agents as you like. Let's build it. We import client alongside agent and create one with our API key and the settings we want every agent to share: a 10-minute tool timeout and our time zone. Then, instead of passing API key to each agent, we pass client equals client. Here's a notifier and a summarizer. Two different agents, one shared client. They use the same connection pool and the same configuration. Change a setting in one place, and every agent gets it. Two more things worth knowing. If your settings live in the environment, clientbuilder.fromEnvironment reads your mAIvn API key and the matching timeout variables and builds the client for you. No hard coding. And because a client holds real network connections, you can manage its lifecycle. Use it as a context manager, and when the block exits, the connection closes itself. One configured object, cleanly opened and closed. Let's run it. The notifier answers, and notice the proof underneath. Notifier.client is summarizer.client returns true. They're literally the same object. The shared time zone and the 10-minute timeout are right there. Configured once, read back from the client. ClientBuilder.fromEnvironment gives us a ready client too. And then the guardrail. This is the one rule to remember. An agent needs either a client or an API key. Give it neither and it stops you immediately. Agent requires either a client instance or an API key. There's no silent default. You always know exactly which connection your agent is using. So when do you reach for an explicit client? 3 times. When you want one configuration, timeouts, time zone, shared across many agents. When you need to manage the connection lifecycle yourself. And when you're tuning timeouts for long-running tools. For a quick script, API key is perfectly fine. The SDK caches the client for you. For a real app, the explicit client is the single place your connection lives. To recap, API key is the easy path, but the real object underneath is the client. Make it explicit when you want shared configuration, custom timeouts, or lifecycle control. Build it once with client or client builder and hand it to every agent. And remember the rule: an agent needs a client or a key. Next up, private data. How mAIvn lets your agents work with sensitive values without ever exposing them. See you there.